Good morning, folks. Hopefully, I am live and working properly. We shall see. Good day, guys. Hey, Pac-Man, Neilk. We're good on Twitch, obviously. Live. And I'm live on YouTube as well, but my comments aren't coming over. Hey, Andy. There it is. Hey, Pure Luck. All right. Do I ever stop working? I do sometimes. Hey, Dave. Hey, Camel. Jays, Ryan, DJ. What is up, folks? Hey, K-Money. Evening, Graham. Morning for me, but same diff. How's the website stuff going? I have a plan. I got started on it, but then got cut off yesterday. But I know how I'm gonna do it all. I planned it all out. I'm gonna use the forums as the base for the SSO, because there's a nice SSO solution already built into the forums, and we'll take it from there. I just have to adapt it for the other two sites, basically. Thank you, Andy. Hey, Dave. Working on launching a standalone app from the top level today. Sorry, Jay. Nope, I'm not. Hey, Quad. What's going on? Neo. All right. So obviously I'm on the list of small things thread here. And I figured we'd pick another thing to tackle today on this. Quick update on the 3D engine stuff. Lansix is getting really close on that, and we're working on integrating. We already have the proof of concept for it all basically running and built. We're just working on integrating it into Big Box right now. Lansix sent me a bunch of instructions on that, so I should be able to do that here soon. Work with him on getting that all integrated. I haven't read through the instructions yet, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take me, but I don't know. If we're lucky, we might see that this week, if not next week. So that's exciting. What forum solution do we use? This is IPB. It's what's it called? It's IPS IPB, and I love it. It's the best thing out there. It really is. Just broke a customer's wireless controller, so you thought you'd stop by. That's funny. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Neil 9000, what's going on? Who controls platform clear logos? Some platforms like PCFX are missing clear logos. So those are actually, they're downloaded from EMI Movies and the GamesDB and stuff, but the default ones are actually included with LaunchBox. So we got more that we can include there. Hey, Wade. See ya, Jay. Hey, Esteban. Something I've been meaning to ask but never managed to catch you while streaming. Is there any way to filter your view to only see games you have marked as broken in Big Box? Only see games you have marked as broken. You can use the filter stuff. The new nested filter stuff can do that. Ryan, yes. But no, there's no way to filter all of Big Box to just see broken. But you can do that easy enough just by filtering a particular list using the nested filters. Bizarro. Yeah, I've got to catch up on my forum messages. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, a problem with the license. I did see that come in this morning, actually, and I will take a look at that. Thank you. Hey, Critical Sid, what's going on? I think it would be wonderful for the 3D interface if we could choose to build an arcade by genre or company, then watch it being built in front of our eyes. That's crazy. You mean like a 3D virtual reality arcade kind of thing? Hey, Jams. Echo Shard. Things are well. Will the new 3D stuff mainly improve cover flow? Eventually, it should improve a lot of things, but right now, cover flow is the focus. The idea is to go through the broken games and fix them. Nested filters sounds interesting. Not sure where that option is, though. Sure. It's just a matter of... Well, I can show you that in a second here. I do have a lot to catch up on then, Sid. Yep. Irish Steve. What's going on? I think the 3D stuff is for navigating through a virtual arcade with cabinets, consoles, and everything. Sure. Hey, Carnival. Ported over the Hyperspin arcade sounds. I don't think so. Yeah, yeah. That is. Well, the VR stuff is exactly what Chris is working on, and it's awesome. All right, so we gotta pick something from this list to go over. So this is what we just implemented on Monday. The bulk edit ROM paths. We could add something for that. That is apparently that's the #1 request. And does everybody know what that means? Basically, when you move your ROMs to a new folder, there's currently no way to bulk edit them, and that has been a fairly common request, and it's a boring one, which is why it's never been implemented. Hey, OPAC. So what do you guys think? Should I do the bulk edit ROM paths today? That's certainly something we could probably tackle in 3 hours. But that would probably take the stream. But that is the number one thing on this list. And from what I understand from Monkus, it's in priority order. Saving import settings. Fully editable controller and keyboard functionality. So more keyboard shortcuts. Importing Windows game shortcut files. Improved playlist. Bulk edit additional apps. Yeah, I'm thinking bulk edit ROM pass would be the best one to tackle. See you there, man. Add option to hide the mouse. We have an option to hide the mouse, though. Although not in emulators, so I assume that's what you mean. Yeah, it's not really going to be a 2-minute job or a few-minute job, Neil. But yeah, I get you there. I would rather do the bulk edit ROM pass, I think. Oh, nice, Chris. That's awesome. I've done that before, Neil. LaunchBox, Dropbox, yeah. Hey, Nosh. The vault images would be great. I agree with that. We will be doing that, but yeah, it's not quick. It's not quick at all. A lot of these are just straight up not quick and will take multiple days to implement. So, improving startup videos is on the poll, and that's going to be tackled as well. That's a good idea, Foxy. That should probably get on this list. Hey, D. All right. So yeah, bulk edit ROM paths I think is the choice for today, especially since this is the number one thing on this list. We got to figure out the best place to put it and stuff. It's just a good thing to tackle today in 3 hours. And oh, hide the mouse when using an emulator like CMU. Sure. Yeah, right now we don't have anything for that, Joe V, but that makes sense. Rocket Launcher will do that for you, though, if you do want to use Rocket Launcher. Hey, Justin, thank you. Hey, Ryan. Ryan and Ryan. Thank you, Ryan Wilshire. Yeah, that is available on the forums. There's instructions for that stuff. I don't know what tutorial ETA is working on right now. Yeah, most Saturdays a new tutorial, or Friday, Saturday a new tutorial comes out. I'm not sure exactly what tutorial he's working on for this week. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and I'm going to do a rebuild here. And we'll figure out how we're going to do this in the interface first. This is only going to be in LaunchBox because this is just editing your library, so there's no reason to put anything like this in Big Box. But we'll figure out where it goes. All right. What's Wood's role? He does news primarily, but he does a bunch of other videos as well. And I'm not sure he'll be back here very soon. I know we haven't done a lot of news videos lately. I've kind of taken the approach that until we have major news, I don't want to do news videos just to fill in holes. And I know that because of the 3D engine and the back end work I've been doing lately, we just haven't had a lot of major news. So that's what's going on there. But he'll be back. Nosh, have you ever reached out to Lazy Game Reviews? Oh, I love LGR. Or Video Game Nerd, specifically Mike, to help promote LaunchBox. Those are two people I have not reached out to, and they're very obviously they're huge. And actually, I'm a big fan of all those guys. LGR is specifically right now one of my absolute favorites. I literally watch every video he puts out. Clint puts out, and Angry Video Game Nerd, of course, he's been around longer than anybody is. I love watching his stuff. But yeah, no, I haven't reached out to them. That might be a good idea though. But so if you guys have connections, that's the thing. It's hard to reach out to a random YouTuber and get in touch with them and form a relationship and stuff. I formed a relationship with the Game Chasers and with Wood and Sean Long and even Pat and Ian by going to conventions and all that stuff. But it's not always easy to reach out to these people and get in touch with them. So if anybody has a connection there where they can, get me in touch. Oops, I've got to do something about this. I'm going to mute this here. Um, what's up, DOS? Is there an RPCS3 tutorial for LaunchBox? RPCS3. I'm not even sure what that is. I don't know. You can there's a tutorial playlist on YouTube though that should make it easy to find every single tutorial. I feel like at this point, pretty much everybody in the emulation scene knows about LaunchBox. If they don't, then they must be living under a rock. Yeah, and that's the truth. We're we're getting to the point where we have pretty much. Uh, I mean, there's always new areas to go. There's always new people to get in touch with, especially people that are only on the fringe of the emulation scene, like game collectors and stuff like that. But at the same time, we have pretty much covered our audience relatively well at this point. We haven't run out of people. There's new people coming in the scene all the time. And so we're not having a problem with growth or anything like that. But it is to the point where advertising, specifically on YouTube and stuff like that, is less productive for us than it used to be. It used to be when we advertised in a video, things would blow up, but that's not really happening as much anymore. We are still growing. The thing is, we've moved from needing that kind of advertising to growing organically, which is a very healthy thing. It's a very good thing. The vast majority of our traffic comes from people Googling and ending up on our forums, and then downloading and upgrading later. That's the gist of it. Big Flicks, sweet. I need to test that out yet. I have tested it out, just haven't tested out the new one in a while. RPCS3, I don't even know what that is still. Me too. I do love LDR a lot. Wood knows AVG nerd, sure. So yeah, Wood could get me in touch with those people. You're right. That's a good point. Did you know gaming? Sure. Well, nice. Okay. I didn't know they used LaunchBox. Well, that's sweet. As far as market share, I have no idea. I mean, it's like impossible to tell. I know I have an approximation of what our numbers are as far as how many users we have, how many downloads we get, all that stuff. But I don't have any concept of what the numbers are for other front ends. Um, I mean, and we looked at the last community poll, I mean, not community poll, the EMI Movies poll from like a year ago was the last time I got a concept of that, and we won. We did. But I don't know. That's not really a representative of how, what the breakdown is. Oh, a PS3 emulator. Okay. You're on the fringe. He went with a tracked mode, did he really? I even tweeted to them to try and get them go with LaunchBox. I can't believe he went with a tracked mode though. That's interesting. I offered them a free license and everything, but just via Twitter. Interesting choice. Can you remove the wheel sound in a tracked mode? I don't know. I don't think there's a separate setting for that. You can always remove the wheel sound, but can you remove it only in a track mode? I don't think so. He specifically wanted open source. I see. Hey, Andre. One of the Do You Know Gaming guys even popped up once or twice in your streams and said thank you. Oh, nice. Dang it. How do I even, like, miss that? Oh, of course I remember that now. Of course I do. Man, I'm silly. Too many people to keep track of. Cool, Jovi. My life in gaming. Sweet. Pi 3 support when? Unfortunately, that's not going to happen anytime soon. From a technical perspective, it's a nightmare, and we'd have to rewrite everything. So that's the issue there. Barrel roll. Yeah. All right, cool. So, I did do a rebuild. Let's go ahead and start up LaunchBox and figure out where we're going to put this to get us started here. So ultimately, what we want to do is we want to be able to relocate a number of ROMs to a new folder. And we could make it complicated, but I don't want to make it complicated. I want to make it stupid easy. And if you got to go platform by platform, you got to go platform by platform. I don't think that matters that much. So, for example, you right click on a platform. We could add something in here to relocate, or what we could do is just you select all the games and we add something to relocate ROMs to new folder. I think that's probably the best way to do it. You select all the games that are going to a particular folder and you relocate ROMs to new folder. Simple enough, right? I would rather keep it simple because I don't want to deal with nested folders and all that stuff. I don't know, what are your thoughts? Thank you, Neil. I agree with that. Yeah. Relocation should be based on selection. Makes sense. Sounds like a great solution. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make this even more simple than that, though, Neil. Uh, I'm not gonna check for the same folders. What I'm gonna do is we're literally just gonna have the user pick a folder, and that is the folder that it's gonna look for the ROMs in. Even simpler. Hey, Emu. Zazu, yeah, that's the plan. Tea is not the perfect beverage. Although, when I was at Kirsten's house recently, I did learn to like tea. I have to admit. Coffee is my thing, though, guys. You know that. But, yeah. I found a tea I liked for once in my life. I haven't had any tea since, though. Don't see how doing it from LaunchBox would be faster, easier than just doing it in Windows like normally. It's not about moving the files. It's about telling LaunchBox where the files is after they're moved, Ali. Would making automatic search for file name be easier? Um, mm, Probably not. Especially if we got to search the entire hard drive. That's true, Neil. Yeah. One platform at a time, sure. So it doesn't add the games folders when adding a new platform. Yeah, I know that. And yeah. Hey, Stiff. Olus. Yeah, yeah. Both tea. I feel like both tea and coffee are acquired tastes. Might want to warn for bin and queue situations. Interesting. Yeah. Well, the thing is, we're not going to be moving files ourselves, though. All we're doing is relocating the folder, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this done here. So basically it's gonna rely on things being selected, and we're gonna add an option right in between here to relocate selected games, selected ROMs to new folder. But do we use ROMs or do we use games? Is it going to work for? I guess we could make it work for non-ROM platforms, but it might be a problem. Hmm. Well, we'll see. We'll get it started, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I don't plan on moving them ourselves. That's dangerous, and that's going to be risk. I mean, there's too many issues with that. The issue is that people move them and then don't know how to update them in LaunchBox. So anyways, so here we go. Let's go ahead and start by adding the item in the main form. Tools. Let's go ahead and edit drop-down items there. I'm gonna add, we'll call this relocate. Do we use ROMs or do we use games? So Windows games, this isn't gonna work. DOS games, this isn't really gonna work either. ScumVM, yeah, it really should only be a ROMs thing. Relocate ROMs to new folder. The thing is that that's confusing because it's going to, that kind of suggests that it's going to automatically move the stuff for you, and it's not. So I don't know. Importing certain file types, yes, Nicholas, that's easy to do. There's several ways to do it, but either way involves using Windows Explorer to filter to a particular file type. So first, I mean, one option to do it is to open Windows Explorer, filter to star.q, select them all, and simply drag them over into LaunchBox. But you can also use the search box and filter in the wizard, just like you filter in Windows Explorer anywhere else. So, will you blindly replace the directory path or check if the ROM file exists in the new user selected path? It's a good question. What do you guys think we should do? What we could do is check to make sure the ROM file exists in the new path, and only update it if the ROM file exists. Or do we just blindly do it for everything? I don't know. Hey, Acid. We're working on relocating ROM files. Admin. Hey, Dark King. RetroArch opening as admin. Okay. Well, I'm not sure why RetroArch needs to be opened as admin, but I guess that sort of makes sense. Exactly. You should never need to run RetroArch or LaunchBox as admin, and you shouldn't be. Just do it blindly. It's a feature few will use. I think it's going to be a feature that a lot of people will use, but not often. That's the thing. A checkbox. What do you guys mean, a checkbox? All right. Relocate ROMs to new folder. I wasn't happy with that. Change ROM. We could change it to, instead of relocate, change ROM folder path. I know what a checkbox is, guys. Yes. But you're saying we should provide a checkbox to specify whether or not to check to see if the file exists? It's for when people move their ROMs around to a new folder. Update ROM directory. That's not a bad way to put it. Change ROM folder path. Dark King, basically the issue is where you've installed RetroArch. That's the problem. You probably installed RetroArch into something like Program Files or something, and your file permissions are messed up. Batch, change ROM folder path, or just change ROM folder path? Personally, not up to the passes. This new path cannot find the ROM. If this new okay, it would only update the paths of the found ROMs. That makes sense. Form that has move the location input box and a checkbox. Sure. I get you, Andre. I don't know. I want it to people to know they can select multiple games. I guess that works. Okay, we need to find a letter we can use, which is going to be really tricky for this, unfortunately. H, maybe. Nope. Obviously, C is in use. It has to be. Yep. A has got to be in use. Yep. N. I hate doing this. This is my least favorite part of working on Windows forms. N is used. G I know is used. E is used. R. It has to be used. Refresh. Yep. O is used. M. Yep. Goodness, I'm going to run out of letters. S. F. Come on. Oh, we already checked. L. Oh boy. Okay. L right there. Goodness. D. Yep. E we already checked. R we already checked. P already in use. A is already in use. T is in use. H is in use as well. So I don't know. We can't use. There's nothing there that we can use. So forget it. I'm not going to worry about it. We do need an icon though, so I'll have to pull that up. That sucks though that we can't put a shortcut letter on that, but oh well. Let's go to our icons and find an icon for it. Okay. So folder. This one should be easier than Mondays where we were just hunting forever. So we want basically change a folder path. What do we got here? Folder rename. I mean, that's not the best, although that's one way to do it. There's a folder with a search. It's not too bad. Folder with an arrow too. That would probably work. Then it's the same stuff with blue, looks like. So I think one of these should work fine. We have an arrow, this rename weirdness, or search. I think I'm just going to use the arrow because that makes the most sense. I'm going to rename this to change ROM's folder path, and we'll go ahead and drag this over into resources, images, put it in here, save that guy. Come on, hurry up. And then tools, change ROM's folder path, image, oops, becomes change ROM's folder path. That works. Now this guy needs to be disabled by default. Do I move that up? I think I might actually move that up so that create missing is on the bottom. Okay. Now, based on the selection, we need to disable or re-enable these. I want to check this guy. This is consolidate ROM's tool strip menu item. Consolidate ROM's tool strip menu item dot enabled equals. So I do this on when we're opening. That makes sense. Sure. Just need to figure out how many games are selected is all. Okay, let me catch up on some comments here. Thank you, Justin. Update ROM folder directory. Yeah, close enough. How about adding it to the Manage Platform tab? Move ROMs to. That might be a. Yeah. Yeah. Although. That's not a bad idea, Neil 9000, but I think I want it in the root menu too. Does LaunchBox have Easter eggs? Well, if I told you that, they wouldn't be Easter eggs anymore. No, well, yeah, I'm gonna leave that question wide open. Andre, yeah, that would be an easier interface to build. I get you there. Move the ones that have the path, then have a message box. Files not found. Would you like to move them anyway? Rarely used feature doesn't need a letter. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Nilk. Tools menu is getting too long. It is. I know. Adding an edit menu, sure. Ah, stupid thing. I lost my spot in the comments. This isn't Emacs. You'll need to start using Control-Shift letter, yeah. Does anyone regularly use the menu shortcut keys? It's more for accessibility reasons. It is kind of important for that. Why edit default DOSBox configuration is not inside Emulator Manager? I don't know. Hey, Ricky. We're adding a bulk edit ROM path thing. £100 or pound, no, euro Amazon code in the German translation. That's hilarious. Should probably reduce the anti-caps in Nightbot. Yeah, I probably should. All right. The bot is also kind of mean. It is. You're right. All right. So the next thing I need to do is on the tools menu drop down, depending on how many. Well, I should just handle the selection stuff is what I should do probably. Hey, Phobos. Dueling banjos. So I'm torn between doing it here and then doing it in the selection stuff, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it here. We don't need it in the if then. All we really need is this dot what is it? Change ROM's folder path to strip menu item dot enabled equals this dot games control dot selected games dot count greater than 0. That's all we need. Go ahead and build it and give that a test, and then it's just a matter of doing it, which isn't that hard. Oh, never too late for a prayer. Thank you, Pac-Man. I don't know how I missed that. Yeah, let's do that. Might as well ask if anybody has any prayer requests before we pray. I hate the fact that I forget that sometimes. Let's close out of that. So nothing is selected right now, and change ROM's folder path is disabled. If we select a game, change ROM's folder path is obviously enabled. That works. Maybe we should change this for selected games. Make this more obvious. I'm thinking that's a good idea. So, main form. That's fine. And then we just actually have to implement it. We should probably use the existing process code that I have elsewhere. The tea never runs out. Get warmer here in Australia. That's what I pray for. Wrong pray word. Just reload the page. All right, guys. Well, let's pray. Lord, thank you for another day. Thank you for another day for streaming and for all the opportunities that you've given me in this project. I pray that you would help us all to be good support for each other today and for the rest of the stream. Thank you for helping me be productive, and for all the ideas coming in from the community. I pray that you would just help us keep focused on you and on the important things in life, and not be worried and not be dragged down by problems and all that stuff, but you would just help us to be productive, focused on you, and generally happy, and feel support from everybody here on the stream. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Cool. So we added this. I'm going to go ahead and move that guy up to the spot where I have the other processes so that I can copy that code. So this is a process here. Going to make sure we do this right in a thread and all that stuff. But here's the thing. We do need to pop up an interface. The simplest thing to do would be to pop up a folder browser dialog and just use that, but that wouldn't allow us to create a checkbox or anything. But I'm not sure we really need that. I like the message box idea. Since this isn't going to be used extensively or very often, I don't think we really need a whole window and build a custom window and all that stuff. So I'm just going to pop up a folder browser dialog and take that method. Do we have a folder browser dialog? We don't. So I need to add that. Let's call this folder browser dialog. We're not going to show new folder because it doesn't make sense for this process. Okay, the description on this guy, we're going to make select the folder that contains your ROM files. Select the folder that now contains your ROM files. And I think that will do it. What is the option here? Yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. All right. So first off, stock folder browser dialog sucks because it lacks the raw input box for a pasted path. I know, and that's annoying, Neil, but this isn't a common enough feature for me to worry about that or do anything about it. But that drives me nuts too. It always drives me nuts. It's annoying being a programmer in Australia when languages like Java, etc. use US English. Sure, I believe it. Color, yeah. All right, so first things first, if for some reason they get here with only one game, without a game selected, we're just not going to do anything. This .gamesControl.selectedGames.count equals 0. We're just going to return. So that's the very first thing. The next thing we're going to do is pop up that dialog. Do we want to? I think before we, I could pop up a message box explaining what this process is going to do, and I don't know that we need that though. I'm not going to bother with that. This is going to pop up the folder browser dialog. So this dot folder browser dialog dot do we set the selected path? It's going to show dialog this. And then if this dot folder browser dialog dot what is the property? For cancel. Huh. What the heck? Dialog result, right? There is no dialog result. That's odd. Oh, that's where it is. Okay. If equals dialog result dot cancel, then I'm simply going to return. And then we have the selected path. The new folder is going to be the path from that dialog. The only other thing to worry about is specifying the current folder path. The current folder path is probably, the thing is, I'm not going to bother with that because it's possible to do this for multiple platforms. So you're just going to have to dive in and select a new one. Big deal. So then if you select the new folder path, I think then it makes sense to pop up a dialog explaining what exactly it's going to do. Oh no, we're talking about politics now, huh? All right, let me catch up on these comments. The last game I played was actually last night. I sat down and played Horizon New Dawn. I think that's what it's called. And I'm loving that game, by the way. It's a beautiful game. And I fell in love with the main character quickly. Because she starts as a baby and grows up, and it's cute. It's awesome. And the graphics are just freaking amazing. So yeah, I'm enjoying that game right now. It'd probably be better to avoid politics, guys. In all honesty, it really would. Zero Dawn, that's what it is. Yeah, exactly. And it is. I've only put a couple hours into it so far, but I'm loving it. I really am. Nice. Yeah, Borderlands is awesome. Cool. All right, so from here we should pop up a message box telling the user what it's going to do and asking them if they want to continue. So I need to come up with the message. Let's just say string message equals string.format. It's going to be the selected games will have their ROMs relocated to the new selected folder. Their ROM files. No, well, but we don't want to just do it with ROM files. Their ROMs / application paths. No, we are doing it just for ROMs. Have their ROM. That's fine. But relocated suggests they're going to be moved. The X selected games will have their ROM folder paths changed to the new selected folder. Let's do /n/n /n/n. The ROM files themselves will not be moved, so make sure you have already moved the ROMs before starting this process. Also, do not use this process for non-ROM based systems. /n/n. Would you like to continue? Okay, but we need. So we have the number of games and we have the new folder path. So this .gamesControl.selectedGames.count, and the new folder path is this .folder browser dialog .selected path. Okay, now I need to make a string out of this. Dang it. Irritating. Copy that. Let's go up into my strings. Message change ROM folder paths. We need to change out the /n stuff on this, because that's not how this works in here. I wish it was easier to do that. So the 0 selected games will have the ROM folder paths changed to the new selected folder. Oh, come on. The ROM files themselves will not be moved. So make sure you have already moved the ROMs before starting this process. Also, do not use this process for non ROM-based systems. Would you like to continue? That should work. Okay, this is message change ROM folder paths. Let's close out of this. Strings.message change ROM folder paths. Okay, there we go. Now, if message box helper dot prompt yes no this message, default button is going to be button 2 for no, equals dialog result dot no, then we return and don't continue with the process. Otherwise, we can continue. All right. So moving on. We know we're going to actually do something now. So we can introduce our actual process here. I'm going to go ahead and build though and take a look at this and see how well that particular part works. And I'll catch up on comments here. I'm running behind on comments again. Best graphics I've seen on any console. You know what? Honestly, I agree with that. It's literally Horizon Zero Dawn. I was just drooling. The graphics are seriously the best graphics I have ever seen, period. And I'm really surprised. And actually, I would even argue that the graphics are better than anything I've seen on PC. But so that amazes me. But honestly, I'm not. I haven't played a lot of the newest PC games, even though I have a GTX 1080. But I mean, like, it's just incredible. The graphics are absolutely downright amazing. Oh yeah, there's my wife. My wife was playing it last night. Update the additional paths related to the selected games. Additional paths. Good question. What additional paths, Pac-Man? Additional apps. Ah, yes, of course. Good point. We should do that. Yeah, we can do that. I'm glad you made that point because that's going to be important. Sort by year in big box. Yeah, I don't know. There might not be a way to do that, actually. I have to think. Honestly, I don't think that's there, unfortunately. There's filtering. Add the fallback image priority for missing games placeholder we discussed on the forum earlier. Sure. Unfortunately, not today. Um, but I mean that is something that is planned. I will be doing that. There's going to be a pretty involved solution for that, but it's going to take. I mean, it's multiple days of development to get that done. So that's not going to happen on the stream. Open world games on PC is probably The Witcher 3. Yeah, and The Witcher 3 looks freaking amazing, but honestly, Horizon Zero Dawn has it beat. In my opinion, anyways. The tracked mode option to only land on games with videos is unfortunately not a priority, Upsy Downsy. Yeah, yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. It's just there's graphical approaches that I've never seen elsewhere. It's amazing. Pong open world. All right. So, anyways, back to development. So now we're going to be starting the actually, I wanted to test this quick here. It'll take me 5 minutes. Unfortunately, no, it won't. It would be a lot longer than that. And I'm with you, Upsy Downsy. I'm sorry that I can't always just do what one person wants. That's the problem, and that is not a common request. It hasn't been a common request at all, and for that reason, I can't just jump on that. All right, so we are going to select, for example, all of NES, tools, change ROM's folder path for the selected games. For the selected games, nah, that's fine. For selected games, select the folder that now contains your ROM files. That's fine. I could put more of a description in here, which might be a good idea. And then make it... I'm not sure if there's a limitation as far as how much I can put up there, but that might actually be a better approach. If I cancel, nothing happens. Okay. The 790 selected games will have their ROM folder paths changed to the new selected folder. The ROM files themselves will not be moved, so make sure you have already moved the ROMs before starting this process. Also, do not use this process for non-ROM based systems. Would you like to continue? Can I move this to directly in the ROM folder dialog? That's probably a better way to do it. Doesn't matter what I select right now. We'll see what happens. Message change ROM folder paths. let's change that. Please select the folder that now contains your ROM, contains the ROM files for the selected games. The 0 selected games will have their ROM folder paths changed to the new selected folder. The ROM files themselves will not be moved, so make sure you have already moved the ROMs before starting this process. Also, do not use this process for non-ROM based systems. Okay, we don't need that. Would you like to continue? So that'll simplify it. As long as it works to put that much text up there, I would rather keep it consolidated like that. And then we only need one property, so we don't need this. And I'm going to say this dot folder browser dialog dot description equals this guy. And then we're going to get rid of all this. And the next thing I'm going to do, well, let's test this first. Too bad you can't put this in the edit section like you do with changing emulators. I'm confused there, Dave. Keltoy, just got promoted at work and my foster kitten got adopted. Well, congratulations, Keltoy. That's awesome. That is a good day indeed. Good job. Sweet. Can you change the browser folder to something like browse for destination folder? I'll check that out. Hey, Phoenix. All right, so I built this. Let's give it a test. Okay, select all the games. Change ROM's folder path. Yeah, this is what I was afraid of. It's just going to get cut off. Darn it. That stinks. Darn it, darn it, darn it. All right. Well, here we go again. We're going to want to... Yeah, I need to undo all the changes I just did. That stinks. Okay. Well, and then on strings, I need to go back to what I had. I don't know if I can do that though, because I've closed it out. Yeah, it doesn't. What did I call this? Message change. ROM folder paths. Yeah. You select the folder and it now contains the ROM file. No, okay. Okay, so we're going to change this up. I'm going to go ahead and first off, I'm going to cut that. The 0 selected games will have the ROM folder path changed to the new selected folder. The ROM files themselves will not be moved, so make sure you have already moved the ROMs before starting this process. Also, do not use this process for non-ROM based systems. Would you like to continue? Okay, and message change ROM folder paths folder select. Please select the folder that now contains the ROM files for the okay, and the description on this okay. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, folder browser dialog. I'm going to get rid of this description so that it doesn't get needlessly translated by the translators. And build it and test it. Hey, RC from the NYC. Thank you, Phoenix. Awesome. Ricky, out of curiosity, have you got any future plans regarding retro achievements with LaunchBox Big Box? I do, actually. They were on the poll. So yes, that will be implemented here soon. That's on the docket. Hey, BRB. Cool. All right, so looks like we are built. Steam Achievements plugin. Sure. Good to know, Neilk. All right, so I'm going to select everything. I just played the music apparently. Tools, change ROM's folder path for selected games. Please select the folder that now contains the ROM files for the 790 selected games. That makes sense. Select a folder. The 790 selected games will have their ROM folder paths changed to the new selected folder. The ROM files themselves will not be moved, so make sure you have already moved the ROMs before starting this process. Also, do not use this process for non-ROM based systems. Would you like to continue? Doesn't matter what I choose, but yes, that is what we want. That works well. So, now we can actually finally get started with this process. We need to check to see what files exist and what files don't. So we need to go through every single one and check to see if there's any missing files, I think, at this point, before we do anything. So first off, we're going to be going through for each var game in this.gamescontrol.selectedgames. We just want to look at the paths. So ultimately, we're dealing with okay, so we should confirm that every game is emulated and has an emulator first off, and then the application path. So if game, you know what though, first off, we really need to do this kind of stuff. Because we're going to be working cut this. I'm not going to do any of the threading stuff yet. But one thing, we need this up top. If string.isNull or empty game.emulator ID, then it's not emulated, and we need to make a running count int not emulated count equals 0. It's going to say not emulated count plus plus and continue. We're going to skip that game. The next thing, hey Monkus, that's exactly what we're working on today. Yep. All right, so next we have to check to see if the file exists, the destination file. So, well, first off, if string.isNull or empty game.application path, then we need another one. Int empty application path count equals 0. Empty application path count plus plus. Continue. Then we have to get the file path. So string file name equals path.getFileName game.applicationPath. And then the destination path equals path.combine the new folder path, which we have this.folder browser dialog.selected path and file name. Now, if file.exists destination path, we do one thing, otherwise we do another. We need file exists count equals 0 and file not exists count equals 0. So we're going to say file exists count plus plus, file not exists count plus plus. The other thing is I need to make a list of the actual games we're going to change. And the destination paths. So probably a dictionary would work for that, I'm guessing. Var games to change equals new dictionary of game string and the capacity is going to be this dot selected games. Actually, it's not like the capacity matters much, but this dot games control dot selected games dot count. So the other thing is it's possible for the same game to be in there more than once, so I should handle that. I didn't think about that. But selected games might be filtering that out, I'm not sure. No, it's not. All right. So we get down here, what I'm thinking we need to do is var games equals this dot games control dot selected games dot it's a list, so I can just use link on this, unique or something like that. Distinct, is that what it is? Yeah. Dot to list. Okay. And then instead of doing this, we're gonna go through games. Just make sure we have a unique set of games, because depending on what view is presented, it could not be unique. So then, at this point, we need to add it to that new games to change dictionary there. So games to change dot add game and the destination path. There we are. Then at this point we have this stuff to report. If file not exists count is greater than 0, Or well, do we pop up separate message boxes? Probably. So we have the situation if file not exist count is greater than 0. We have the situation if not emulated count is greater than 0. And we have the situation of empty application path. Empty application path count is greater than 0. So we have those situations to deal with and prompt the user about before we continue. Let me catch up on comments here real quick. I'll take your monkey kiss, Munkus. Sorry for the off topic. Could the common open file dialog for the Windows API be used for selecting folders instead of the default folder browser? It can, but it's very poor and it never works properly. If you use it in many other apps, it just doesn't work the way it should. WinMerge is an example of an app that tries and doesn't work. It doesn't make it work well. It's not meant to be used that way, and it can be used that way, but it's very poor when it is. It has quirks and it's annoying. But yeah, I know there are solutions better than this, but for this process it's not worth it because this is not a common process. Can I join the CMU team? No, I'm not going to join the CMU team. I'm not an emulator developer. Yeah, the CMU team is amazing, but I'm good at what I'm good at, guys. I wouldn't necessarily be good at emulation development and emulator development. Obviously, I'd be a lot better than a lot of people, but and I could be effective, I'm sure, but emulator development is very distinct and different than a lot of other types of development. According to PayPal, I am a developer, an emulator developer. That's true, OPAC, because PayPal's a bunch of fools. Anyways. All right, I'm out of coffee, for what it's worth. Okay, here we go. Message boxes, message boxes, message boxes. File not exist count greater than 0. So ultimately, the message, let's go ahead and just put it directly in strings. Come on, wake up. We also have to, darn it, I forgot. We have to do the additional applications as well. And we're not right now. So we're going to have to add apps to change equals new dictionary of additional application and string. And I'm not gonna do that. I'm changing my mind on that. Especially since we have apps to change anyways. I can't predict that easy. So for each game, we go through the games. And then, this isn't relevant. This isn't relevant. You know, if the application path is empty, I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm not going to report it, especially since additional apps are separate as well, and that's just not that important. If you don't have something on there, obviously we can't do anything with it. Not emulated count, that matters because that should be alarming to the user. File exist count, obviously. File not exist count, obviously. So at this point, after we go through this, we're going to go through for each var app in game.additional apps applications dot. Oh, this is just a list, right? Yes. Then we get, let's just set file name equals path dot. Well, first off, if string dot is null or empty app dot application path, then we're going to continue. The other thing is if app dot string dot is null or empty app dot emulator ID, or not app dot use emulator, then we're going to skip it over there as well. And I'm not going to report that because not every additional app on an emulated game is necessarily going to be emulated. So there's nothing wrong with that. We don't need to report that to the end user because it's not alarming. Same here. So the only thing we got to worry about is whether the file exists in the destination folder. So at this point, I'm going to say file name equals path.getFileName app.application path, and destination path equals path.combine this.folder browser dialog. Just copy this. That selected path, file name. Okay. And then, of course, we check to see if it exists. If file.exists destination path, then file exists count ++, and we're going to apps to change dot add app destination path. Else file not exists count ++. Okay. There we go. So that handles the additional apps. I'm going to ignore that because that's not important. We have the not emulated count and the file not exists count. I'm going to start with not emulated. And go to strings X games were found in the selected games that are not emulated. These games will be skipped over during this process. Would you like to continue? that are not emulated and do not use ROM files. Whoops. So this is message games not emulated found. That works. And we just need the total number of not emulated games. So I'm going to say if message box helper.show yes .prompt yes no, this string.format strings and the what's the variable called, not emulated count. It was right there, of course. Message box default button is going to be no, that we're not going to continue. If that equals dialog result.no, then we're gonna whatever, fine. I'm going to return and not continue. So then the next issue is whether the file doesn't exist. All right, let me catch up on comments here. You guys are talking about CMU still. All right. Anyways, file not exist count. So the next thing is we need to prompt about the files that don't exist. So this guy is, go back to our strings. Come on. Here we get 0 files were found in the selected games that do not exist in the destination. Exist in the newly, it's not a destination folder, in the newly selected folder. Would you like to... All right, I gotta get to my kids. Hold on. All right, sorry guys. Okay, so let me expand this out a little bit. Your files are found in selected games that do not exist in the newly selected folder. Would you like to change their folder paths anyways? Selecting yes will change the folder paths for these games despite the fact that the files do not exist. Selecting no will leave these games unchanged. Selecting cancel will cancel this process. Let's go ahead and put in a space there. What happened there? Oh. Well, I messed that up. Alright, 0 files are found in the selected games that do not exist in the newly selected folder. Would you like to change their folder paths anyways? Selecting yes will change the folder paths for these games despite the fact that the files do not exist. Selecting no will leave these games unchanged. Selecting cancel will cancel this process. That's fine. Message new folder path files not found. That works. And here we go. If we need a var result equals message box helper dot prompt yes no cancel this string dot format strings dot message new folder path files not found. Was there only the one variable? I think so. We just need the count, which is file not exists count. The default button I'm going to say is cancel, which is button 3. All right. Then if result equals dialog result dot cancel, we're going to return. Otherwise, we need a Boolean wait a minute. Darn it. Where the file not exists, I need to you still keep track of that so that I can actually change them. Anyways, so I need another var not exist games to change. And var not exist apps to change. And then bool change not exist. We're going to say change not exist equals result equals dialog result dot yes. All right. And then finally we can move on and actually do the process at this point. Well, let's see how this is working so far. Give it a build. I'm checking up on comments here. All right, guys, we don't really need to be arguing back and forth about whether CMU is free. Who cares? I mean, obviously it matters, but you're just arguing technical details. You're arguing context. It's just not worth arguing. Anyways, all right, so we're built. Let's give it a test. The thing is, I don't know if any of my games are, well, I can easily replicate the not exist stuff, not emulated. So let's go, for example, let's just do everything. Might as well give it a good, crazy, extensive test, right? Tools, change ROMs folder path for selected games. Please select the folder that now contains the ROM files for the 14,272 selected games. We're just going to pretend that they're all in this folder right here. The 14,272 selected games will have their ROM folder paths changed to the new selected folder. The ROM files themselves will not be moved, so make sure you have already moved the ROMs before starting this process. Also, do not use this process for non-ROM based systems. Would you like to continue? Yes. 283 games were found in the selected games that are not emulated and do not use ROM files. These games will be skipped over during this process. It only found 283? Would you like to continue? I'm going to say no. I guess that makes sense. I have 104 MS-DOS. Yeah, so it's my MS-DOS and my Windows. I just don't have that many games in here, I guess. So that equals 283. So that's what it found. That makes sense. So let's do this again. Would you like to continue? Yes. Would you like to continue? Yes. 15,493 files were found in the selected games that do not exist in the newly selected folder. Would you like to change their folder paths anyways? Selecting yes will change the folder paths for these games despite the fact that the files do not exist. Selecting no will leave these games unchanged. Selecting cancel will cancel this process. Yeah, that works well. Actually, there's nothing after that, so it doesn't matter what I choose here. Okay. So, now, lunatics. Give me mod status. I'd have to get on YouTube. I think we're okay right now. But yeah, the conversation here is kind of pointless, guys. I do agree the conversation is pointless. Just arguing definitions and semantics is just not a worthwhile thing to do. Pretty wild, huh? All right. Anyways, yeah, nobody needs banned. It's not a big deal. Anyways, we're ready to actually perform the process. And I don't know whether we need to do it in a separate thread, but we probably should. Let's go ahead and get that ready. We want to do this stuff right here. I'm just going to copy this section. And this is what we actually do. Except we need all this stuff in here. So we don't want message creating playlists. We want message changing ROMs folder path. Or just changing folder paths. Doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and create that. Message changing folder paths. Ice Baby, welcome. All right. So this is where we do our stuff. And so ultimately we already have our, I mean, this is super easy. We're going to loop through all the, oh, we have to add things to the list yet. We don't do that yet. So let me do that here. Not exist games to change dot add game destination path. And down here we have not exist apps to change dot add app destination path. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and add an int total changed equals 0. And then we're going to, for each var game in, oh come on, in games to change dot keys, and we also need for each var game in not exist games to change dot keys, for each var app in apps to change dot keys, and for each var app in not exist apps to change, oh come on, dot keys. However, if change not exist, then we do these. What's the problem here? Might not be initialized. Fine. Change not exist equals false. And if change not exist. So there's what we got. We We could simplify this by merging. No, I'm not going to do that. We're okay. All right, so first off, we need to set game.applicationPath equals games to change game, but we need to make it relative, which is file helper.getRelativePath. Come on, I hate how it does that. Games to change game. Okay, and then total changed plus plus. That's all we need to do in theory. And same thing here. Game.applicationPath equals file helper.getRelativePath. Not exist games to change game. Total changed plus plus. Then we're in additional apps. App.applicationPath equals file helper.getRelativePath apps to change app. Come on, where's my P? There we go. Total changed plus plus. And finally, app.applicationPath equals file helper.getRelativePath not exist apps to change app. Total change plus plus. Now, this is all going to change. We're going to do something like this. I don't know whether we need to populate games or not. We probably do. Yeah, we need to repopulate the games. So we'll do something like this. Oh, we do need to save as well. So then I can delete this section. This.invoke. We hide the working control, we populate the games, and then we show info. Oh, I forgot in my string.format I need this and all of them up there. Crap. Go back up there. Current block. One, two, three, 4, 5. All right, we're good. Then this stuff needs to change. We need a new string. How many files were updated in the selected games? Simple enough. Simply need X file paths were updated in the selected games. The process completed successfully. X file paths were updated in the selected games. That works. Message file paths updated. So this becomes strings dot message file paths updated, and then we need total change. In theory, that gets us done basically. So we'll see. Other than testing, that should be all we need. Baker Entertainment System. Where did that come from? That's hilarious. That's a new one. All right, let me see. I'm catching up on comments here. Yeah, there's a lot of. I gotta be careful what I say. You guys, come on. It's gonna be all right. We're almost done, Ryan. The bot is just too much. Yep. Don't get him started again. You're both contributing. You know you're both contributing. This isn't a one-sided thing. You just keep going on and on about the same crap. Let's just agree that we don't just agree. No online discussion ever. It's hilarious. For what it's worth, I asked you both to stop. I'm not angry though, guys. It's not a big deal. It's just, nobody else likes to listen to you guys go back and forth on one subject for like an hour. It's just not. It's not fun for anybody. It's not a big deal, but nobody wants to read that stuff. Yeah, I'm not worried about anything. Don't worry, guys. I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm just saying. Thought it was bad when your children are playing. What do you mean, retro? Oh, I'm apparently being too too controlling or bossy or something. It's fine. It's no big deal. It was playful banter, and I know that. I totally know that. It's just I'm just saying. Anyways, we've got defenestrate. I don't even know what that word means. When you have to run out of the room to tell them to quiet down. Sure. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that one, BRB. Maybe I shouldn't. Anyways, here we go. Let's give this a test. I don't want to mess up my collection though, so for that reason, we might want to make a backup and test that one. Although I could just back up my data folder. Probably be better not to do that though. Let's go ahead and copy out what I need. Just going to grab my metadata and my data folder and my exes, and we'll create a new folder here to test this stuff out. And we won't have any images or anything, but that's fine. Doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just do it on everything with something stupid here. So I'm going to go to, no, we want to select all, change ROM's folder path for selected games. We're going to give it a stupid, brutal test. I'm going to go to, we're going to change it to, doesn't matter, something that's stupid. Okay, the 14,272 selected games will have their ROM folder paths changed to the new selected folder. The ROM files themselves will not be moved, so make sure you have already moved the ROMs before starting this process. Also, do not use this process for non-rent-based systems. Would you like to continue? Yes, I would. 283 games were found in the selected games that are not emulated and do not use ROM files. These games will be skipped over during this process. Would you like to continue? Yes, I would. 15,493 files were found in the selected games that do not exist in the newly selected folder. Would you like to change your folder paths anyways? Selecting yes will change your folder paths for these games despite the fact that the files do not exist. Selecting no will leave these games unchanged. Selecting cancel will cancel this process. I'm going to say no. There it goes. The process is completed successfully. 0 file paths were updated in the selected games. And the reason is because none of the files existed and we said no. That's exactly what we wanted. So let's go back and do it again. And we'll select new folder again. Yes, we do want to continue. Yes, we do want to continue. Files don't exist. Yes, we want to change the paths anyways. Changing folder paths. Hopefully this doesn't take too long, but it will take some time because we're doing it for 15,000 games. So who knows how long it's going to take. Defenestrate means to throw someone out of a window. That's hilarious. There it was, not too bad. Process completed successfully. 15,493 file paths were updated in the selected games. There we are. And if I check out this particular game, just because it's here, yep, new folder, 720.zip. Let's find something with additional apps. Come on. Where's all my games with additional apps, for heaven's sakes? I probably don't have many because I've got a restricted ROM set. That's somewhere we've got that. We've got to have that somewhere. I haven't gone through this and re-imported with all the new stuff yet so that I have multiple ROM versions. Haven't really done that. I know I've got an example of this somewhere. Maybe Genesis. Yeah. I don't know. Oops. There's a couple right here. The additional apps. Yep. That worked. And that worked too. I think we're okay. I'm gonna say we're ready for a beta with this feature. So that's good. I can put that, I can put this beta out today. I need to get back to the website development. But yeah, we're in good shape. it's a good breaking point. I know it's a little early, but I'll go ahead and catch up on comments, and then we'll probably just go ahead and end the stream today, and I'll get a beta out shortly for you guys with this feature. I know nobody's super excited about this feature. Monkus probably is. The people who are excited about this feature are the people who are on the forums helping everyone who has this problem. That's the people who are going to be excited about this particular feature. I do need to go into my change log and get that updated. Go ahead and new feature, a new, what's it called? Change ROM's folder path for selected games. Change ROM's folder path for selected games. Option is available under the Tools menu in LaunchBox that will allow you to batch edit ROM folder paths for when you move your ROM files. Good enough. Okay, good to go there. We can close out of this and that. So we're about ready for a beta here. I'm going to change my version to beta 9. Go ahead and do a rebuild. Let me check up on comments. Always wonder why LaunchBox has no space, but Big Box has one. Oh, sure. Well, honestly, Big Box to me, I have stupid reasons for that, and I'm the first to admit it. I just think Big Box looks really stupid if the words just look dumb if you put them together, where LaunchBox doesn't, and that's the only reason why. I don't have any good reasonings for it. But I'm sticking with it because that's the branding at this point. Oh man, here we go. You guys. So this feature wasn't nearly as bad to implement as you made it out to be. Well, we implemented a very simple version of it, but yes, well, it's a 3-hour job. Did I say it was a super difficult thing to implement, Monkus? Don't change the subject, Monkus. One of the issues is that people were asking for the moon, like with multiple folder paths and relative folder paths, as far as like automatically doing it It's hard to explain. I'm not going to get into it, but this works. This should work great from a platform by platform basis. It should work really great. But no, maybe I did, but I never intended to say that it was a super difficult thing to implement. But I don't know. What am I doing on the website? So I'm working on doing an SSO, a single sign-on between the www, meaning the main site, the forums, and the games database, so that you log in once and you're automatically logged in on all three. And then we can do neat things like forums, people being able to brag if they have a license, being able to brag their contributions on the games database, and back and forth and stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on right now on the website stuff. This was the most requested feature. Yep, which is why I tackled it. Thank you, BRB. Quick question about open with. Are those settings remembered, or does it need change every time you launch a specific game? If you use launch with, it will not change the default. No. If it did change the default, I mean, I'm torn. We could add a setting for that, but no. Using a launch with will not change the default for that game currently. If you want to change the default, it's easy to edit the game and change the default. Real quick, how do we scale themes for both 16 by 9 and 16 by 10? Unfortunately, that's not a quick answer. It's very complicated. And there isn't a good solution for that. So I'm going to have to, I want to come up with a solution for that, but it's very, very difficult and complicated. And there are themes that do it and do it very well, but you have to build it that way from the beginning with that in mind. It's not easy. With the beta updates, is a prompt to install the new 4.7 framework each time? No, only if you don't have it will it prompt. Some copyright reason. No, actually it's not. Is my keyboard still in one piece? Yes. Oh, Foxy, if LaunchBox is working, then you didn't cancel it because it requires the .NET framework in order to run. So reset, boys. What SSO am I using? We're going to be using the forums login solution and creating an SSO on top of that. How are you going to merge accounts? People have different emails between them. I use the same for all three. If you've got a different email between your different things, they won't be merged, and you'll have to manually change what you use. I'm only gonna merge accounts if the emails are the same. I really doubt there's gonna be a lot of people with that situation, because why would you use a different email? I'm sure it's happened, but you'll just have multiple accounts at that point. Yeah, forcing 16 by 9 is my plan for how to fix it, at least currently, but we'll see. May need to email you, Neil. What do you mean by that? But anyways, guys, thank you much. It was a good stream. I'll see you guys on Monday, most likely. And I'll get a beta out here shortly, and we're good to go. So have a good one, folks. And I'll see you guys on Monday.